I think I'll give you my theory on human evolution from my perspective. You don't have to believe a thing I say, but different things have been revealed to me throughout my life that I like to share with other people because I had these aha moments. And I think we all have aha moments at different times in different ways. But one of the most significant ones I ever had was when I've talked to you before about it. I had a spontaneous healing. And I had that by just surrendering because the alternative, death, was not what I wanted. Now, when I surrendered and I went to this alternative reality, it was mind boggling in a way, but it was just so natural. It didn't freak me out or anything, but I wasn't living at the same level of consciousness when I had the shift. Everything was brighter. I could see things more clearly. I knew exactly what I needed to do, like break up with my boyfriend wasn't a problem. We went and had lunch and parted company very harmoniously. Moved to the East Coast so I could get away from the environment I was in California and really go within and learn what I needed to learn at that phase of my life. Um, I realize now that before that happened, I wasn't what you call self-actualized, self-realized, reborn, rechemicalized, awakened, whatever you want to call it. But once that shift happens, you can call it whatever you want. You're like a different person. Now, before that event, I was subject to all sorts of negative influences, if you want to call it that. I didn't have a clear sense of who I was or how to protect myself from negative influences and people when I was on the airplane or when I was in my personal life. I would accommodate negative people in a way that could take my energy and even hurt me. I remember I even had this thing going on where if somebody hurt themselves, I would feel the pain in my own body. Empaths do that sometimes. And I went to a spiritual teacher and he cleared that up for me. He explained that it was kind of an ego thing to do that because it wasn't really my business to take on someone else's pain in that way. It wasn't helpful. And I never really bothered me as much after that. It seemed to clear that up, which was a good thing because I couldn't even go into department stores sometimes. I would feel so much energy coming from the people. I would have to flee when I was out shopping, or, I didn't like to go to events. A lot of empaths are like that. They just don't like to be around big crowds. I never had a problem with it on the airplane for some reason. I liked being up in the sky, away from most of the human minds and consciousness. It was very freeing for me to get above it all, up there at 35,000 feet. And, sometimes head out over the Pacific Ocean or the Atlantic Ocean or go to a different continent. I found that very, very freeing. I liked that a lot. And it opened my consciousness to shift like that from one environment to another that quickly, in a matter of hours, to be in a different place, go to work in one place, end the day at another place. I kind of like that a lot. But what I want to explain to you is until you have this big aha moment, now it can happen in the darndest ways. You never know what's going to set you up for it, but you have to almost have a passion for it. Many people on this planet just don't. They're busy doing whatever they like to do without thinking about the bigger picture, their immortal self, their eternal self, preparing themselves for the next adventure when you check out of here. To me, is kind of important because where you put your attention is where you will end up. So you want to be putting your attention on things that you desire to create and be part of and explore and understand. That makes life a lot more exciting than just living by default, accepting whatever comes along without any discernment. You need to really figure out what it is that you love. And, look at all the people that get stuck in these very negative emotions like anger, jealousy, fear, and they don't seem to think that it's even appropriate to find a way out. They just stay stuck there. Like, that's it. They don't realize if you study metaphysics, spirituality, if you meditate, if you really get on a path, there's been so many mystics that have come before us on this planet that have tried to teach us how to free ourselves from these negative emotions, because that's not a good place to be. It just keeps you running around like a little squirrel in a cage, getting nowhere. You've got to release it. When you put your attention on the results that you want, if you need perfect health, focus on perfect health. Tell yourself, I am powerful. I am healthy because I have dominion. I reflect God. God told us we're made in his image and likeness, her image and likeness. All we have to do is accept it, believe it, and we can manifest it. Start practicing. Practice with little things. We're living in a time where manifesting is getting easier and easier and easier. So be careful what you put your attention on. You do not want to manifest your greatest fears. I did that when I got that cancer diagnosis. My greatest fear had come upon me. I didn't even realize that's how it works at that point. But I had a terrible fear. That fear soaked into my subconscious mind. And darned if I didn't go get a bad diagnosis, just like I wanted, because I was believing that that fear could be real and I manifested it. But just as I knew I'd created it, I knew I could uncreate it, and I did. And in an instant, it dissolved, it disappeared. Grace stepped in. We are divine. We just need to know how to tap into it. Go to my website, RebeccaTripp.com. If you want a conversation, let me know.